We may seek fortune for no greater reason than to seek the attention and respect of people who would have otherwise not paid attention to us. Alain de Botton. I know it's a fancy name, but hear me out. Alain is one of the top philosophers in the world today. He's the founder of the School of Life, a YouTube channel with millions of subscribers, and he teaches the world about how to use philosophy in everyone's day-to-day life, whether it's their health, their romance, and of course their finances, which is exactly why I wanted to break down the exceptional talent that is Alain de Botton in this week's episode of MasterTalk. Hi everyone, Bren here from MasterTalk on your go-to channel to mastering your talk, and today we're covering Alain, his communication style. So let's begin the School of Life. Number 1, use powerful body language to create impact in your speeches. You'll find often on my channel that I don't really talk that much about body language, but I felt that I needed to in the context of Alain's communication skill because he does this a lot better than I do. Whenever he communicates an idea, his style is very soft spoken. So the way that he moves his hands is very delicate, as if he's petting a goat or something. He's really delicate in the way that he approaches his message, but everything that comes out of his mouth is very controversial. He would say things like, "This is why nobody in this room knows how to live life, and that's why I started the School of Life." But he does it with such a soft tone, with such a smooth body language, that you don't even think to really question what he says. You just listen and say, "Oh, okay, yeah, he's probably right. I probably messed up every single area of my life, and I need to keep listening to this guy speak life into me." And this is something I struggle with personally, and the reason is because I'm very aggressive with my hands, and you'll notice that a lot when I communicate ideas, and that's also something I can learn from Alain. So what's the lesson here? When you use soft body language, it helps you convey controversial ideas in a way that you get the least amount of resistance. So leverage it to the best of your abilities if you can and if you want to. Number 2, sarcastic humor is very difficult to get right, but if you can, you'll build a very unique skill set in your communication game. What I love about Alain de Botton's style whenever he communicates an idea, it's almost as if he's mocking society, but in such a loving way that it's hilarious. In one of his talks, he speaks about the idea of romanticism, where we've been fooled as a society to believe, in his words, that love is supposed to be about waterfalls and roses and walks in the park, when in actuality, love is fighting. Love is really knowing when to push buttons and when not to, and stepping on eggshells sometimes. And that's truly what love is. There's so many imperfections, and Alain mocks the culture of romanticism by saying things like, that's not what love is. So when we fall in love after a few months, when that image that we have in our mind from the movies and the TV shows don't match actual reality, we start to get disappointed and we start to give up on love altogether. And this is why he has a talk entitled "Why You Will Never Marry the Right Person" in one of his YouTube videos. It's hilarious and painfully true in some case. The point around Alain de Botton's style is being sarcastic and funny is a difficult balance to strike. So what's my advice to you? 2 things. I would say number 1, don't force it if you feel it's not your style. Because in Alain's case, he has an extreme level of confidence. Even if he makes a ton of mistakes from a basic technique perspective, filler words, ums and ahs, he could pause a bit more if I was his coach. He's so confident that he doesn't care. So don't worry about striking the balance. I would say get better at one of the two and then mix both later. What does that mean? That means practice on being funny first, and then when you get funnier, then learn how to be sarcastic and then put the two together. And finally, Number 3, paint a disastrous picture for your audience if they decide not to implement your ideas. This is a very risky strategy, but I'm mentioning it in the context of Alain's work because he does it in a fun and playful way. He doesn't go to an audience and starts yelling at them and saying, "You must change or your life is over," but he rather would say statements like, "Well, we're all broken at the end of the day, so might as well embrace our imperfections and lead a better life." Here's an example he gives in one of his keynotes. He talks about a dinner date between two people. If both of them during the date talk about how amazing they are and how great they are, it becomes a very boring date. But instead, if they talk about how imperfect they are, what's broken about them, what are their weaknesses, their vulnerability, it actually becomes a much more interesting conversation because they both realize that they aren't perfect and they can find meaning within each other. And this is what he says. He calls people who tend to put themselves on pedestals as overconfident, as arrogant, people who don't fit the mold and who pretend not to be broken when they actually are. So that's how Alain does it. It's fun, it's playful. So what's my recommendation for you? Talk to your audience. Start to understand their sensitivities. Like in the context of my topic as an example, I don't do that too much because communication is a touchy subject. A lot of people are scared of it. That's why my YouTube videos are often inspiring, they're fun, and I don't really attack my audience as much as Alain would. So you need to talk to your audience, get to know them, understand their sensitivities, and adapt your message to those nuances for the best effect. I passionately believe in this idea that it's not what you say, but rather how you say it. And Alain is the best example of this. It's about sharing ideas in a way that gets people to take action, to see themselves in the shoes of the speaker and say, I can change too. And I hope that you start your own school of life for the ideas that you care about in life. As always, if you enjoyed this week's episode of MasterTalk, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well to see more videos like this. And if you know one person that's a fan of Alain de Botton, provided you can pronounce his name, obviously, be sure to send him this video or her that video so that they'll be one step closer to stepping into the school of their own life.